everybody, this is Board Game Breakfast, and I'm Roy Canaday, and I'm here hosting Board Game Breakfast this week for our live show because the guys are at the Gathering of Friends. So they'll be back next week for our live stuff, and I think Tom's going to record some Board Game Breakfast segments for our Monday breakfast from there. But yeah, we'll have everything back to normal next week. But we've been putting up a lot of content for you guys on the channel this week, so I want to talk a little bit about the content we're doing there for that as well. So since they're at the Gathering, Tom has put together a Gathering Gaming. He's going through and saying a bunch of different games that he's been playing at the Gathering, giving you little previews. Some of these games are like old classics and games that he really enjoys. He's just playing with random people, and some are like brand new, like sneak peek games that he's playing from the designers. I've been putting all these together, trying to like make sure to get the different shots of different things and having like pictures slide in and everything like that. And it's a cool little like gaming vlog of what Tom's been playing there. So make sure to check those out, and we have a couple more of those coming up. And also, Chris has been putting together the history of the Dice Tower. So he's got several of these videos that have been going up through the week. I think there's like 2 or 3 more to go up, which is super exciting. These were some of my favorite series from back in the day when Tom just talks through the history of the Dice Tower, how the Dice Tower started, and where it's come along all these years. So those are super exciting. Definitely make sure to check those out. And then we also have several reviews and previews coming up from several of our awesome contributors and reviewers here on the channel, from Robert and Brian, and some Kickstarter previews from Mark. So make sure to check those. We have several more of those coming up on the channel. We've had a lot that have already come up this week as well. So Tom has padded out the channel the week that he hasn't been doing reviews himself with a bunch of awesome reviews from our contributors. We also have the Jason Dice Tower vlogs. So these are from Dice Tower West. So if you want to see Jason going around for Dice Tower West and talking to a bunch of different people, getting super excited about Viva Las Vegas, I think I have some random cameos in this of him coming up and putting the camera in everybody's face. It's super awesome and fun. And then also on the channel, pretty much like now as well, the Hunt the Ravager live play of a game that's coming to Kickstarter from Colossal. Tom played with Colossal Games, and they showed him the game, gave us a cool Kickstarter preview for that live play, and check that out. It's not actually live, but they played it live and we recorded it, so make sure to check that out as well. And that's pretty much what we got going on. So stick around for Board Game Breakfast. We're going to have lots of awesome contributors, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And I guess we'll go ahead and get to the Kickstarter news with Kat.
Hello, fellow gamers. Don't forget that Easter is this weekend, and there's going to be lots of eggs and chocolate, okay? And probably lots of games, so make sure to play lots of games with your family. And keep in mind that for every melted chocolate piece you eat, it's really like you rolled a dice and then it landed slightly on its side, so it just doesn't count after you eat it. Not the dice, the chocolate. I just don't recommend re-rolling the chocolate, guys.
Featured this week, we have Kingdom Rush Rift in Time by Lucky Duck Games. This is for 1 to 4 adventurers looking to cooperatively defend their towers by flinging spells, shooting arrows, and throwing down that hammer in cute little polyomino forms. For about 45 to 90 minutes in this high-stakes puzzle game that challenges players to risk their defensive hand management while trying not to let the party die. If you want to get into this little tower defense game, then it starts at $59. Now, speaking of adventurers not minding their own business, in Dungeonology, the Expedition by Ludius Magnus Studios, where they reward that type of arrogance with a sweet, sweet degree. As 2 to 4 nosy scholars work on their thesis by flipping tiles to explore the secrets of a dungeon lair and collecting those useful data cubes to prove their work for about 90 minutes, all while avoiding the boss monster hunting you down, managing your hand of tricks to undermine your competition, and, of course, sacrificing those sweet little gullible students so you can get your work done. Believe me, this is going to be harder on them than it is on you. Now, this uniquely themed pick up and deliver game starts at $89, but thankfully student debts are not incurred while playing. Next up, we have another type of debt, but this one has a little less bite with Vampire the Masquerade Heritage by Nice Games Publishing, which is for 2 to 4 kindred ready to scheme against other clans by collecting faithful children under their bloodline and participating in historical events throughout history. As this tableau-building legacy game makes you struggle to fight the beast within, help princes gain ground, and it only plays in about 15 to 20 minutes per player, taking the storytelling and intrigue from the RPG and making it into a $59 board game. Lastly, we have Rome by Red Raven Games. This is for 2 to 4 wanderers looking to find their friends by searching the land and winning area control of that region for about 30 to 45 minutes in this spatial deck building game that relies on players to use each character's search ability to the fullest in order to find all of their friends first. Now, this little game runs for $22 and it comes with tarot-sized character cards.
Thank you so much for joining me, guys. If you want to hear more about any of the Kickstarters that you saw here today, then make sure to go over to gloryhound.com and check out my channel as I do a live show about all of the Kickstarters I mentioned here on Dice Tower on Fridays at noon Mountain Time. So make sure to check that out and leave lots of comments and stuff, and we will converse and have an amazing time and talk about all of the Kickstarters that we're geeking out about. And other than that, I will see you guys all next week.
おはようございます。今日私たちは日本に行きます。関ヶ原の合戦ね。Good morning. Today we're going to Japan, to the Battle of Sekigahara. This game is about the unification of Japan in the year 1600 because prior to 1600, Japan was in a civil war. So Hideyoshi, well, he's dying. So he grabs 2 of his most powerful allies and says, hey, I'm dying. Take care of this little kid. He's 5 years old. He's going to be shogun once I croak. Well, that lasted 2 years. Sekigahara is a low-complexity 2-player war game where the rulebook is 20 pages, but 10 pages are actual rules. The other 10 is a history of the Battle of Sekigahara. You get to learn something. I did. So firstly, what you have with this game is a 22 by 34 inch mounted map. It's beautiful, it's very evocative of old Japan. You get blocks that represent factions and sides, and each block is approximately 5,000 men. To win this game, you either have to kill this guy, Mitsunari, or this guy, Tokugawa. If not, you win by victory points by capturing castles and cities. This game is played in 7 turns, recreating the 7 weeks it took to fight this battle. This is what the board looks like in its initial setup. Check out that beautiful map. It looks gorgeous when it's all set up. So there's also fog of war in this game, you being able to see your side, the opponent only be able to see their side. This is a card-driven game. So to move, you discard cards. Discarding a certain amount of cards makes you move your stack of blocks. Now, there are certain penalties that are incurred if you move stacks that are more than 4 blocks high. When you move into an area that has an enemy, combat occurs. So you gotta play certain cards that match certain symbols on your blocks, and those are the blocks you can play. If you play the loyalty card, there's a chance that one of their loyal factions becomes one of your loyal factions. Once you initialize combat on the impact track, the person who is behind you actually gets to have the initiative, meaning that you don't get to fight until he surpasses you on the impact track. As easy as this game is, it's actually quite deep. Sekigahara, the Unification of Japan, published by GMT, developed and designed by Matt Calkins. Thank you for watching, and if you want to know more about war games, please check out my channel, No Enemies Here.
Hey everybody, this is Printed Pieces, where I talk about 3D printing and what it can bring to the tabletop hobby. So I decided to bring 3D printing to this show. It's normally on Monday, but since I'm running this whole thing, I figured I'd talk with you guys about some 3D printing stuff and just talk a little bit about my journey in 3D printing. So I got a 3D printer for Christmas, was definitely a lot of fun. I was super excited, but I just had figured out that I was gonna be moving down to Homestead, Florida for the Dice Tower, so I didn't wanna like set it up and build it all and then have to move it as well, because I had watched several like building videos and I was not super confident on how well it could move built, because it's kind of like a structure thing. There's tons of pictures of my 3D printer, which is an Ender 3, in a lot of my previous Printed Pieces episodes, but I wanted to show you guys some of the things I've 3D printed, even though some of them I showed on the show before, but it'd be cool to just have a bunch of different stuff. I printed way more stuff than the things that I have here, but yeah, one of the first things I did was I printed like this little 3D printed dog thing. This is what comes on the Creality Ender 3 to print out, and just like when this came out and I was printing, I was just like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. I'm gonna be able to make so much board game stuff with this thing. And then I printed like some silly stuff for my kids as well. This is like the non-board game stuff, just like flexible dinosaur guy. You know, my son, like, I was like, hey, I can now print toys for my kids. Well, from there it went on to printing all sorts of different things. One of the main things I was super excited about is 3D printed tabletop gave me some files for dragons that I printed out, and this was the first time I saw like the kind of miniature that a 3D printer could actually create, which like made me freak out. And like the guys here at the studio were like, oh my goodness, those look crazy. And you can definitely tell they're 3D printed from the bottom, like with the markings and everything, but you print them in different pieces and can glue them together. And I even put like color shift paints on some of them so they look kind of crazy. But they're really cool if you want to play like a D&D game or something like that. And I'm like, man, I need to design a dragon game so I can just play with these cool dragons. But then I had so many people online asking me about inserts and different inserts, and I knew inserts come in a bunch of different pieces and would be hard to print out and take a while. But one of the main things that I wanted to print out is I printed out an insert for my Tiny Epic Quest. So it comes with places to hold all your little meeples in there, and all these different plastic pieces. They come in like little, they all like print out separately. So it's like, oh cool, there's a litty dice holder. And majority of the time you can find a lot of these files on Thingiverse. There's an awesome community that puts all these files up on Thingiverse, and there's all sorts of different things you can print out. And then one of my friends, Kevin, that actually went on the cruise ship, he didn't have an Ender 3, or didn't have a printer. I think he got an Ender 5 or something like that, but he didn't have a printer before, I was talking about 3D printing, and he had watched the show a little bit, but he showed me Tinkercad, which actually allows you to create things. So I love Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, so I made like different towers and things like that for my game, because it comes with those cardboard towers and stuff as well. But I really enjoyed that, and the fact that I could like mess around and build things. I'm not really much of a drawer, or like I can't really sculpt things, but like just square blocks and things like that were fine. But one crazy thing that I did make, which I actually printed out yesterday, I was going to try to put a whole segment together and have a thing 3D print real fast in front of everybody, but it didn't quite work out because recording something for 5 hours doesn't really make it happen. But I printed a little, since Tom's not here, I printed out a little 3D Tom Vassal so we can have a boss here at the studio while he's gone. But yeah, so there's all sorts of different things you can do with 3D printing, and lots of exciting things that make board games interesting. Like you can print out different pieces for games to make them more exciting and more thematic, or things that with utility like inserts, or just different tokens that are like more durable than maybe the tokens that came in the game. So it's really cool to see all the things you can do with 3D printing. Let me know what you guys like for 3D printing in the chat. I know that several other of our contributors are actually like do 3D printing as well, which is really cool, because I know Randy and them do 3D printed stuff. But yeah, there's tons of great stuff. 3D Printed Tabletop is also a place where, is a website where I found the files that I put in Cura to be able to use on my Ender 3. So it felt like I quick started when I started doing 3D printing, because I just used somebody else's files. You can find other people's files on the internet. It puts those settings in your machine, and most of my stuff has come out pretty great. I have had plenty of failures, and it's definitely one of those things that you have to work with back and forth to figure out what's good, but it's definitely lots of fun. But yeah, I would definitely love like 3D printed airships and like different things for Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea 2. But I'm not that good at doing the sculpting thing yet. So I can do cubes and squares, but I've had other people ask for that sort of thing. But yeah, lots of awesome stuff. Well, thanks everybody for joining me on Printed Pieces. Keep chatting below about 3D printing and what you're excited about. And we have lots more contributors to go, so let's get to that.
Hey folks, welcome to another Luke's Rants, and yeah, clearly I was in the minority last week. A lot of people disagreed with what I had to say, which is fair enough. This is about generating debate and opinions, not about winning arguments. So, hand on heart, I'm clearly the minority in that one. But you gotta agree with me on this one, guys. Seriously. Time length of games. I get annoyed when publishers lie, flat out lie, about the time lengths of their games. I've played some games lately and it just boggles my mind how they think that the time length is correct on the box. I just played Thunder Alley last night, okay? It says on the box 60 to 90 minutes. The players go from 2 to 7. With 4 players, I guarantee you will not finish this game in 90 minutes. So how on earth it expects a 5, 6, 7 player game to finish anywhere close to 90 minutes is astounding. But then it can get worse. You can get games like, let's say, Bunny Kingdom here. Love the game, but I like both of these games here. But this one just says 45 minutes. Flat. There's nothing. It just assumes that the game's going to take about 45 minutes. With 2 players, yes. 3, probably not. 4, definitely not. Why can't we just have a range? Why can't you just say 45 to 75 minutes? Account for the whole range. Or if you're really not certain, just maybe take a little bit of leeway and just say, right, well, we reckon it could be about 45 minutes, but let's just add 15 minutes onto the time and then maybe make it a little bit more accurate. Now, granted, I get why publishers do this. They want games to sell off the shelves, and if they say it's too long, it will put some people off. That's all well and good, but then I'd rather know that ahead of time than buy the game and realise, oh, this was meant to be about 30 minutes and all of a sudden it's 2 hours. And there are some games as bad as that. So, how can you solve this? I'd be interested to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Am I being too harsh again, or do you think that the time length of game could really be made into a much more useful piece of information than it is now? So let me know what you think in the comments, and until then, I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple Rant, and remember, doesn't matter if you agree with me or not, I just want to hear your opinions, and remember as always, it's only a game.
Hey everyone, Chris Renshaw here, and when it comes to playing RPGs, GMs and players will all the time try and up the immersion, as they call it, to try and make you forget that you're all just sitting around a table talking. What if you want to make your gameplay sessions smell like you're actually in the middle of a jungle? Well, that's where there's a company that's called Adventure Sense, and they specialize in making these little trays full of scent beads. They're called Scent FX jars. So I tested these out over I took them to some of my game nights, and I gotta say they do add a little bit extra to the game. Now there is a big warning, and that is my wife has asthma, and they set off her asthma pretty bad. So I will warn you, this is something you're gonna wanna need to know your group for, because you're not gonna wanna set one of these out if somebody in your group, unknowing to you, has some sort of breathing trouble. Whenever it comes to a specific situation, like an enchanted forest, anything, you just shake up these littles to get them all mixed up, and then you just open it up, set it out on a table, and just let it sit. Or another option you can do is just to kind of pass it around to player, so they there's something about smell that just triggers a memory. For me, it definitely smelled like what they were advertising, but it didn't for everybody. None of them were otherly bothered by this, which is benefit number 1. This wasn't distracting at all. Instead, what happens, especially with the Healing Sanctuary one, this one had the most, where just occasionally you just get this kind of waft of a fragrance. And then it just kind of like, oh yeah, we're in the middle of a sanctuary kind of thing. So that was really nice. Now I will say that these things are about $15 a pop. Now they're supposed to last quite a while. I haven't had them long enough to verify that. And these are definitely a luxury item in the sense. There's no game that needs to have these. Like I said, I would recommend the Healing Sanctuary and the Dank Dungeon. If you had to only get like 1 or 2, the Rowdy Tavern is another favorite of mine. So just like getting a couple of these that are generic enough that you can use them in different circumstances. You're going to hardly find a D&D game that doesn't go into a dungeon at some point. If you're interested in these, then you can go to adventuresense.com and check them out for yourselves. They have a whole list full of products there that you can go and check out. But in the meantime, if you have any questions about these or any other RPG questions, make sure you let me know down in the comments below. And make sure you subscribe to us on social media and on the Boards and Swords YouTube channel and podcast. Check us out for other great board game and RPG stuff. But in the meantime, may all your hits be crit.
Howdy folks, welcome to By the Numbers. My name is Hunter Thomason from the Family Showdown. This week we're returning to my Through the Years series where I'm looking at the most popular game on Board Game Geek by year, starting with 1970. This week we're doing 1972. Taking a look at the top 5 from 1972, we see that the number 1 ranked game at 2,085 on the list is Boggle. Boggle is a simple word game where a bunch of letters are placed on various sides of dice. You shake up a box full of dice, they all come out, and you're just making words by forming chains of letters that appear on those dice.
Every 3 minutes, a man makes peace with his mother-in-law. A teen shows respect to his dad. And a husband finds a gorilla with his wife because everyone's playing Boggle, the mixed-up word search game. A child finds a whale with a pencil. A grandpa gets hip with his grandson. And a guy shows his friends his liver.
Taking a look at the ratings, over 6,000 of them. We see lots of 6s, 7s, and 8s for an average rating of 6.2. This game is extremely light and easy to teach. It comes in at a rating of 1.51 on Board Game Geek, which may be a little high for this game. So if you love word games and you somehow have managed not to play Boggle yet, which would be boggling, this might be one you might want to try out. Try out the electronic version, or the super big version, or the deluxe version, or the junior version, or the... See you next time.
Hey everybody, this is 5, where I talk about my top 5 things in a game. And in honor of Sam, since he's not here, we're going to be talking about my top 5 cards in Blood Rage. So I wanted to pick a game that was popular with a lot of people, so Blood Rage is the one I'm going with, and we're going to look at the top 5 cards of mine. I don't think these are necessarily like the best cards in the game, but cards that I think are interesting, and they're not necessarily cards that I would like draft automatically all the time either, because I mean you have to be flexible in Blood Rage, and you have to be flexible in any drafting game. So the first one I wanted to show up here is Heimdall's Watch. So this is a great card. It's a battle card that basically what it does is in Blood Rage you're going to be playing out cards simultaneously. This is a card that negates the other cards, gives you glory for their strength, which is fine, whatever. I mean it basically interrupts their cards and people have to put new cards out. But one of the best things about this is it can discard Loki's Trickery, which is one of the best cards in the game, or one of the craziest cards in the game, because it steals rage from other people. So this is a great card to counteract your opponents, and especially if you have that one pesky opponent that keeps killing off their guys and stealing all your rage. So another one here is Frigga's Successor. This is a really cool one, and one of my co-hosts on my podcast favorite. This is when you invade with a figure, you may invade with one of your warriors in the same province for free. So this allows you to spam people out on the board. So this is always a cool one to just get a bunch of dudes out, be able to get your stuff out faster, be able to be more strong, and this will combo with a lot of other cards. It's like, hey, if you have multiple warriors, extra strength, a lot of Blood Rage is comboing cards together, so I'm just kind of showing you some of my favorite pieces from some of those cards. So that was my number 4. My number 3 is Frigga's Domain. This allows you to basically pay a rage to be able to bring one of your people back from Valhalla. This can definitely be super important for some of those crazy combos where you're like trying to kill your ship over and over again, or trying to get that awesome monster back onto the board for a lot less rage. It's definitely a super awesome card, especially in like the late game where you're trying to spam those different combos out as you're playing the game. My number 2 is the card itself that everyone talks about when they talk about Blood Rage, and that is Loki's Trickery. It probably shouldn't be this high, but I really like the card. It's just good. I mean, the fact that you can, when you have this card, you can play the game through, purposely trying to lose battles, stealing rage for your opponent, sneaking in there. I like to like keep it hidden until somebody gets down to that one rage and you're like, and I'll take the last one so you can no longer pillage. I don't know. I know that's cruel and mean, but it's definitely a lot of fun, and it's cool. It's one of the unique things about Blood Rage where losing battles is actually just as good as winning them. And my number 1 is the Sea Serpent Monster. I love the Sea Serpent. I have the miniature sitting here. But yeah, Sea Serpent is basically a giant ship. One of the best things about this guy is that he's in Age 1, so you get him in Age 1, you can put him in between 2 areas, and you just kind of like have that area locked down. And if Ragnarok comes, it counts as one more thing that dies. It counts as a ship if you're trying to do like spamming ship combos to get a bunch of extra points for all of that stuff. So my number 1 is the Sea Serpent. Well, what are your favorite cards in Blood Rage? Do you have any specific monsters or cards that you just love when you play the game? Is there anything that you always draft no matter what when you play? Make sure to leave in the chat or in the comments down below. It'd be awesome to see see you guys' ideas on what your favorites are. It's definitely cool. I feel like the monsters are all really awesome. I actually like Fenrir as opposed to Sam, but I definitely agree he's kind of overpowered in the hands of the right person. But there's definitely tons of cool things. Randy, you haven't played Blood Rage? You need to rectify that. Come on. Just print yourself a copy. It'll be fine. I didn't say that out loud. Don't sue me, Simon. Or come on? I don't know how to say their name anymore. But yeah, lots of awesome stuff. Well, thanks everybody for joining me. Family Showdown says that he really likes the Sea Serpent as well. But yeah, definitely a great card and definitely a lot of fun playing Blood Rage. I need to get it back to the table again. I'm really excited to do it after the new stuff comes out from the new Kickstarter. But we still have more contributors to go, so let's keep this show on the road.
Come on, box. Get open. Hi, I'm Jordan, and this is Second Chance Shelf, where I take a look back at an older game and see if it deserves a second chance off your shelf. Today we're going to look at the reprint of 2011's Martian Dice by Scott Almes and Tasty Minstrel Games. The first edition came in a weird cardboard cup that had 2 flat surfaces, but instead the new package comes with 6. Because it's a box. From what I can tell, gameplay is exactly the same regardless of the edition you have. Martian Dice is a small press your luck game where you try to collect dice in order to score the most points. In the game, it comes with 13 dice with tanks, cows, humans, chickens, and death rays printed on each side of all the dice. On your turn, you roll all of the dice. You have to set aside all of the tanks that you have. These are the humans coming to get you and your Martians. Then you have to choose one of the other type of dice that you rolled. You set that aside. If you set aside a chicken, cow, or human, you may not set aside those cows again, or the chickens again, or whatever type you did. Set aside the humans there. You need to set aside death rays equal to or greater than the tanks, otherwise you'll score 0 points on the turn. You keep playing until you pass or you bust. If I passed here, I would score 1, 2 points. Well, there's Martian Dice by Tasty Minstrel Games. Definitely pick this one up off your shelf if you have it, or pick yourself up a copy if it's interesting to you. Kind of what you see, what you get with this one. Not a lot of deep strategy, but sometimes you just want to roll a bunch of dice and see what happens. All right, happy breakfast.
Hi everyone, my name's Nick and welcome back to Mental Health Minute. And I'm here to talk about losing. It's something that happens. We lose a lot in games due to the statistics and how often we play them probably. We're going to lose every once in a while. I have some games that I love that I can't win. And that's okay. Losing is part of the experience. And it's part of the experience in a good way. We're experiencing a loss, but that's okay because you can look across the table and see what they did and see how much fun they had and how cool one of the actions they did was. Do me a favor. Next time you lose a game and you're getting frustrated, like, I can't believe I lost that, I was doing so well, look at the person who won and tell them, wow, I really liked when you did that. That was cool. Because you've brought your focus back onto the game and the process. Not only did you give that person some enjoyment, but you got some enjoyment out of remembering how cool the experience could have been. Whether you're a Eurogamer, Amerithrash gamer, or what have you. There's many different ways to do it. And just focus on the mechanics and the theme and the experience that you guys all had. Not the fact that you won, not the fact that you lost, none of these things. It keeps you in the right frame of mind. And when you push that frame of mind out there, it resonates with the rest of the table as well. So you're helping the group, whether they know it or not, and you're helping yourself by doing so. It's a good experience to have and a good way to put things together. Are there any games that you just can't win? You love that game, but you just can't win and it frustrates you. Let me know what that game is in the comments below. I have one and it's Castles of Burgundy back there. Can't win it. It's a problem. Do enjoy your breakfast.
Hi, we're Board Game Opinions. My name's Steve.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Mark.
I'm Nathan.
And we have our Fable Speed Quiz. We're back again. The Speed Quiz they've got this time is, the question they've got is, I filtered on Board Game Geek for all the games that have 25,000 votes or more, regardless of what those votes are. So we're looking for popular games. I gave these guys a clue that there was only one game there before the 90s, so they're not going to go down all the oldies, because surprisingly they're going to get any votes. We're going to start. We're going to get 2 points if they get any of the top 10 voted for games, and then we're going to top the scores at the end, so we'll see. So I'm going to start with Jonathan. Off you go.
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride is, I'll put 2 points.
Carcassonne.
Carcassonne is 2 points.
Catan.
Catan is 2 points.
Blood Rage.
Blood Rage is 1 point.
Puerto Rico.
Is 2 points.
That's my next one.
Power Grid.
Power Grid is 1 point.
Rising Sun.
Rising Sun is not there.
Codenames.
Codenames, there's a great shout. Codenames is 2 points.
Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven is actually not very high at all. Not there.
Oh, interesting. Stone Age.
Stone Age is 1 point.
Twilight Imperium.
Twilight Imperium is not there.
Through the Ages.
Through the Ages is not there.
Ooh. Princes of Florence.
Oh God.
Right.
No.
Coup.
Coup is 1 point.
Love Letter.
Love Letter. Good shout. I'm just double checking. It is 1 point. Close to the top 10 that.
Dixit.
Dixit is there. It's 1 point.
Hanabi.
Hanabi is. Oh, where are we going? It is a point.
Seven Wonders.
Yes, there's 2 points. We're going to have one will go each.
Arkham Horror.
Arkham Horror is there. 1 point.
Cosmic Encounter.
Cosmic Encounter is not, I'm afraid.
Twilight Struggle.
And finally, Twilight Struggle for 1 point. We're going to top the scores and see how they've done. How did you do at home? And so we're back. A quick total of the scores indicates that in third is Jonathan with 6. In second is Miles with 7. And winning this week is Mark with 8. They got most of the top 10. The ones they didn't get were Pandemic, which is third and list. They could have had Agricola, or Dominion, or finally Small World. I hope you got some of those at home. Yes. Anyway, we'll see you for the next time.
Bye.
Hi folks, my name is Andy and welcome to Portable Gaming, the show about games which are fun to play in pubs and cafes. So today I'm going to show you a pretty simple game, but a one that I've had a long time and I kind of enjoy, and that is Zombie Dice. So in Zombie Dice, you're going to take 3 dice from this cup, and you're going to roll them and hope you score points without having your head blown clean off by a shotgun. So that's simple. Your dice have 3 faces. They have brains, which are worth points, feet, which are re-rolls, and shotguns, which are bad. So you'll roll those dice and go, okay, cool. So I've got 2 shotguns and a foot. So what this means now is if I get a 3rd shotgun, I'll score nothing this round. But currently, I've not scored anything this round. So I'll take this dice, 2 more, roll those again, hope I don't get a shotgun, and boom, I got 2 brains and a foot. So I've got 2 points. If I roll again and I get a shotgun, I lose all my points. So I might say, right, I'll keep these now, score that down as 2 points, and pass to the next player. And player keeps going like that until eventually one of you has won by scoring 13 points. And it's that simple. And you might be thinking, well, okay, cool. That's what kind of makes it fun. Sometimes you don't want to be thinking too hard, doing too much tactics. You just want to sit with your friends, especially non-gamers, and go, roll some dice, see what happens. I used to carry this everywhere. That's why it's battered. I used to stay in a bag. Whenever we stopped and fancied a game, we could always pull out Zombie Dice and have fun. It has expansions which add more dice, more interesting decisions, more chances to win or lose. And that makes it quite fun, quite simple. And yeah, I'm not going to lie. I still enjoy it now and then. It's not the most exciting game. It's an exciting game. It's just not the most tactical game, but it is a lot of fun. If you want games to throw around there, throw some dice, have a laugh, Zombie Dice could be the one for you.
That's it for Board Game Breakfast. It's a super short episode this week. Sorry we didn't have any cool 10 for 10s or surprise unboxings or snack talk or anything exciting like that. But the guys will be back next week. But we still want to get you guys all of our awesome contributors here on the Dice Tower. Thanks for joining us so much. Me and Chris are actually going to be doing a back talk tomorrow, talking about moving to Homestead and the transition to become editors for the Dice Tower. So make sure to join us back tomorrow for that. It's definitely going to be a lot of fun. It'll be cool to interact with Chris here on camera as well, while the bosses are away. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us for this Board Game Breakfast. It's been a lot of fun. Make sure to check out everything on the channel that we've been working hard to get uploaded. But yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vassell and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool Stuff, in stock, at coolstuffinc.com.
Sorry. Too slow. Why did I do this? Hang on.